strange events and circumstances go, that was up there, wasn't it, on Saturday, I think?
Yeah, it was obviously the weather beforehand had created a problem with the drain, and sort of washed away the lid at the top of the drain, and we had that unfortunate circumstances of the game being called off.
Yeah, I guess the club line is very much you hope the result stands, because otherwise it's another game you've got to fit in somewhere.
Yes, it's going to be tough to fit the game in. I'm just pleased for Aberavon that they've been able to find out what the cause is, and it's not it's something that they can actually solve and solve pretty quickly. It would have been a real concern for them as a club, and although the atmosphere down there, our support I thought was exceptional, but also the Aberavon people I thought it was a really good atmosphere, and it was a shame that the game ended like that, because at 24-20, and the only reason that it would be replayed was because of the closeness to the game. But you like to think that after 69 minutes that we'd have gone on to win the game.
Talking about the performance and the BNI Cup in general, how happy are you with what you've seen from some of the squad players, the younger players?
I've been really pleased with the way that the squad has worked together for the whole of the season. That we're disappointed with our first loss against Cornish Pirates, just with the shape of the game, and we were very one-dimensional. But since then, we've put some very good shape together, and there's a lot of learning that's taking place, and you've seen the effectiveness of that through my ability to change the team, but the team still performed well, and that was borne out in the last couple of weeks. Leeds was a tough game for the players in poor conditions, but they stuck out and carried on playing well, and backing that up this week against Aberavon, there were some very, very good moments in the game, and for us, we're striving to get 80-minute performances together, and I still feel that we've not put the 80-minute performance together. But looking at last weekend, a lot of youngsters playing, Carpenter playing well in the centre, Slovic coming through well on at full-back, and Jack Tovey getting his first start back. So that was pleasing to see the way that youngsters are being dripped in and performing well.
And the fact that particularly the first two of those who haven't had as much senior experience as someone like Jack Tovey, it gives you a little bit of reassurance perhaps that if they're needed somewhere down the line for injury-wise, you wouldn't be worried about throwing them into the championship.
Well, that's right, and for those players it's about working constantly on their S&C work as well as their skill. We know that they're young lads, but they've got to go out and play with the freedom and the confidence that they've shown in the last couple of games, and because they've shown that confidence and back themselves, that's why they've come through well.
How would you rate the strength of the squad in general? And obviously it's great to have a good first 15, but clubs now focus on more sort of 30, even 45 players.
If we were to play a trial game, I think it would be very close. I think the squad are happy to play players and bring players in at any stage. I think what that means is that probably we're not at the level that we can be, and that's what we've got to strive for. When we've been good, we've been very good, but at times we've been disappointing because we've dropped off tackles, or we've given too many penalties away, or we've been quite one-dimensional. Our accuracy hasn't been good enough, and that has undermined our performance. So we're striving to get that performance where each week we're constantly looking to build our game and improve our game, and that's where we've got to challenge ourselves, and that we can never get ahead of ourselves. This is about the squad being able to perform well, but it's everybody trying to improve, and I would say individually we've got a long way to go with the improvements we can make, and collectively as a team we've got a long way to go if we want to be able to get to the playoffs.
But you see the sort of building blocks within the squad, you think that the potential is there?
Well, the potential's been shown, with the tries that we've been scoring, the defensive hits that have been going on, some of the line-out wins, some of the scrums that we've had. There's real potential, but it's about cultivating that potential, and with our with the squad here and the challenges that are there, that's the beauty for all the players to be able to put their hands up and work hard and by working hard, they'll get the just rewards.
For this weekend, squad-wise, how's it shaping? Any losses or gains from the weekend?
We're okay. We thought we were going to get Luke Eves back, but unfortunately he's picked an injury up and is going to be out for another couple of weeks, which is really disappointing. Because he was on his way back. One disappointing injury that we have is Jason Hobson, who was injured in the Bedford game and was hit in an off-the-ball incident, and unfortunately he's still not recovered from that, and it's pretty disappointing for him that he's potentially going to be out for another couple of weeks. So that's a 5-week injury, which is when it happens as an off-the-ball incident is disappointing for him to have. But it's great that Jack Turvey was able to come back, which was pleasing, and we're getting one other issue that I think we've got at the moment is just that Brian Rennie has picked a slight knock-up and from the Bedford game, and sort of not really recovered. So he's going to be touch and go for this weekend.
And injuries obviously over the summer were a bit of a problem. They seem to be improving, but wear and tear is part of the game. Do you feel that you're suffering more than average? No,
suffering as any other side would suffer. The great thing for us is that we've got a good squad, and that's enabled us to get through some of the issues that we had. And you feel for sides like Nottingham, for Moseley, and sides like that don't necessarily have as big a squad, and when they pick up injuries, it can affect them pretty badly. And that's why the last couple of weeks has been pleasing for us, that players have come in and performed well.
You mentioned Nottingham there. Do you think the injuries that they've got, is that a reason why they've had such a slow start this year?
Well, they've been, Nottingham are a good side. They're well coached, and I thought the way they played last year was exceptional. They lost a couple of those players through retiring, and they've been very competitive. But they beat Leeds in the first game, which was a very, very good performance. And unfortunately for them, they've been in games with 20 minutes to go, but just held off in those last 20 minutes. So I just need to think about what happened last year. The drubbing that Nottingham gave Bristol away from home. Certainly I wasn't there, but it sticks out of a performance last year, and I was involved in the win that Nottingham had at the Mem, and they were well organised, and they competed for the whole 80 minutes and deserved to win that game in the end, and that effectively stopped us qualifying for the playoffs. So Nottingham will come here with a lot of confidence, and I think they'll come here looking to get their show on the road, and by a good performance of the men can achieve that for them.
And you kind of know, I think, all through the season that the kind of targets on your back, isn't it? Bristol are the big fish that everybody else is going to want to try and reel in, and it would help for them to use that to try and kickstart their season.
Well, you have to do that, don't you? We have to understand that's there for us, and that all the teams are going to come that way. That's the beauty of playing this sport. It's a competitive sport, it's a physical sport, and sides will come out and try and stop you from playing. We have to be very accurate this week in the way that we play the game, and we've got to have very good discipline as well, to not give penalties away and give field position. But also, we want the referee to be able to sort of have a good hand on the game and keep the pace of the game up. And what you saw in the Leeds game, I felt in the last 4 or 5 weeks, the pace of the game has been really high, and we hope that's going to be the case this week. It's great for the supporters to be able to see that, but also for the two teams that play. It's high energy, it's tough, but it's there's some great skills on show, and I thought Bedford entered into that. Leeds played very well against us. London Scottish, and it's for me, this game this weekend is about the freedom for both sides to be able to go out and attack and defend physically.
Fantastic.
I guess it's an occupational hazard for someone like Hobbo to pick up injuries, but do you feel a little aggrieved by the nature of how he sustained that injury?
I'm really disappointed with the nature of it, because it was an off the ball. The ball was miles away, and he gets finger in the eye. Whether it's accidental or not. Just the fact that the ball's quite a way away, and a player's gone and made contact with his face. It's a bit frustrating for him. That can happen, and for us with the game in hand.
Yeah, it takes a very effective player out of your team, doesn't it?
Well, he's had a history of injuries, and this just affects him even more because he's not able to train. Constantly he's now detraining. So it's going to take quite a bit of time to get him back up to speed. Once he's fit and able to do the training that he needs to do.